Hello, my name is Abigail and welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing another random character design. So I have some categories here and all these little options for each one, and they're gonna help me decide what it is that I am drawing. So what kind of character, and I am putting them in this mug, shaking it up and drawing one out, and that will be what it is we're drawing. I have the right to change because sometimes I draw the same ones like over and over and over again, and I don't like that. So, and I'm not about torturing myself. But we're starting now with like genre, time period, more like kind of a general theme. Fantasy. That is always a fun one because then I can kind of be whatever I want. Next is skin color. So I have one that says colorful and then just kind of all the skin tones that I have. E21. So these are my Copic colors because that's what I will be using today. Next is hair. So this has like length, what kind of hair, it's straight, curly, and whether it is up or down. Short, straight, and up. So some kind of hairdo then. Next is hair color. I usually draw a primary one and a secondary one in case I want to do two hair colors. Blue is one, fell out at me. And a secondary one just in case. Green. And finally, I draw a couple accessories, kind of help theme it too. And this is my, this mug that my sister got me because one of her kids, one of my nephews is my godson. So she thought it felt very me. I thought it was funny. A sidekick, that's my least favorite one to draw. And a tail. Okay, I am going to, this is, I also have this, and it is full of my Copic colors, kind of each one. And sometimes I like to have some help drawing like a color. I don't have to include this. It's kind of nice to get a, you know, just kind of a feeling in case. Pale cobalt green. Oh my god. I think this one might be dead, so we'll draw another one. There's so many. Well, we've got peach puff and sepia. We'll see how this goes. But anyway, I'm gonna get this picked up and we're gonna do some sketching then. Okay, so now we are switching to voiceover, and I always start every one of these by writing at the top of the page all the things that I drew so I can put all these little pieces of paper away so I don't lose them. Now, I know this might look like a little bit of a long video because obviously I have already edited this so I can see how long it is, but I promise it is worth the wait. This was quite a fun one. I really enjoyed making this one. Now, I am a little rusty with traditional because for starters, I haven't actually had a chance to make a whole lot of art, let alone traditional art. So it takes me a hot second to kind of get back into the swing of things and have everything looking the way I want. But anyway, to the art. I was trying to be a little bit of a better planner by doing some like kind of thumbnailing-y, or like just roughing out what it is that I think that I want before jumping into a final piece, because that doesn't always work out for me. So I put this rough body shape down, and I was really drawn to the idea of like kind of a wizard, or like a wizard in training kind of thing, and I wanted her to have like almost like her clothes didn't fit, like it's expected of her to wear this robe, and she it doesn't quite fit, or she refuses to wear it in the way that it's supposed to look, kind of thing. So it's like off the shoulders. And then I was trying to think what I wanted for a shirt. I decided that I would have the rest of the outfit be a little simpler. I put her in these cute little like tennis shoes like things because I don't know, like I said, I kind of wanted her to look young, and with the idea of short hair, I wanted her to be like young and like rebellious or something. And so I have her socks. They're not like mismatched, but it's almost like one is falling down. And I did decide that she'd be wearing tights too, just because I think that's a fun look. But and for the sidekick, I decided to fill the space around here, around her neck, instead of with jewelry like I usually do. I decided her sidekick is going to be a little snake, and that he would sit curled around her like a scarf. And so I thought that was fun. Then came the hair. I debated with this where it was like kind of like half up, half down, and like bangs. And it's like, I don't know if you've ever seen people with like super straight hair and they clip it back and it kind of spikes up around their head. I thought about that, but I just wasn't quite liking it enough. So I do end up switching it. So there I just drew a quick little face on her, and I'm back to the hair. And I decided on these little like space buns, and I thought that was cute. And I thought it helped play into the fact that I was trying to make her look a little younger, a little bit of like a noob at this, but and kind of spunky too. So, and I really thought that that kind of showed through. So then I jumped to trying to pick a pose, and I kind of wanted it, honestly, me as an artist I'm not the best at drawing like dynamic poses, so I was trying to make it more so that. And so this is kind of what I came up with. So it's like she's reading from a book, casting a spell kind of thing. And I thought it was really fun. It was still kind of easy. Yeah, where I'm a little rusty is her head. I do want to like, in this, I like kind of make a note to try to like push it back a little bit so it's not so leaned forward, and I didn't quite get that in the final piece, but I still really enjoy it. And then with the kind of like magic almost swirling, you can kind of, I could like make it so her coat cape like thing could kind of be like swooshing out and around her, and like the big sleeves would be opening like that so you can see her hands. And I just thought it was like a really fun time. I love big coats. Like that's like the best thing for me. Like top-notch character design, big coat or cape, 100%. It's the best. So here I am just kind of thinking about everything. Like I said, I decided to do this kind of thumbnailing to try to know what it is that I want, and then I end up picking colors, and that did come back to bite me in the ass later, because I was just unsure of what on earth I was going to color everything. So I did draw that her hair was supposed to be blue first and green if I wanted to split it, which I did because I liked the space buns, like split everything down the middle. I did not give her a tail. I thought the sidekick was enough. But anyways, that did, like I said, come back to bite me in the butt. But so I flipped it to a new page so I could start sketching, so I could put her right in the middle of it. And I do wish I would have switched pencils, because this is just one of those like really cheap ones. I don't even know what the brand is. I think it's like a BIC pencil, because the stupid where like you would put it on in like a folder and it could like hook on the little hook thing broke off, so I don't even know. But the lead is just, it doesn't erase very easy. So if I were to go back and do this again, I probably would have sketched in like my pink colored pencil, so that way it like the pink colored pencil actually erases worse. But what I like about it is it kind of blends into the picture instead of like taking away from it. Like when you try to erase like this thick dark pencil, it really like, it just kind of makes things look muddy, and I don't really like that look. But that's definitely something I would do again. But I did want to talk a little bit while I'm sketching out about my character design process. So I was given the prompt of fantasy, and so I just think about all the things that I like that are fantasy based. So what ran through my head was like like fairy, princess, queen, knight, and I landed on wizard. And the reason that was just because of the sidekick aspect and the blue hair. But when I am designing a character, like I said, I like to think about the place first. So in this case, I didn't have to think about it because it was given to me in a prompt fantasy. So I try to think of the role that I'm trying to have this character fill, assuming that you're putting it in a story. If you're just drawing for fun, I still like to think about what it is that I'm feeling like I'm trying to put out there. Like, am I feeling like I want to draw like an evil villain, or am I feeling like drawing a hero because I feel, like that's just something you're feeling. I like to identify what it is, the role that I want this character to play. For me, obviously wizard, and I wanted her to almost be, think like, I don't know, she could be a main character, I think she wanted, but like in those like coming of age stories where the main characters have to learn how to control their powers because they're like the one, and they're maybe not quite ready for it yet, but saving the world doesn't wait for anybody, so they have to kind of suck it up and learn everything on the go. That's kind of what I was thinking about with this, and so that's just everything started falling into place. So then I wanted to think about what it is that I wanted this character to wear. And I was like, well, what's more wizardy than like a big fucking coat? Nothing in my mind. Nothing. Maybe a hat, but I wanted to focus on, I did debate putting a hat on her, but I knew I wanted to focus on her hair a little bit, so I didn't want to detract from it. But so then around the coat, I'm like, okay, so how would a young, not quite like super into it wizard, how would they wear their coat? Well, definitely not correctly is what I thought. And like maybe it was passed down to her, like she's fulfilling a role that was left open by like another wizard or something. Like maybe she's like the palace wizard, who knows? Like it's just something along those lines. I don't need all of that information to fill in her clothes. And then I did decide that this would be a fantasy world, kind of modern adjacent is what I was thinking, which is where then I wanted to put her in like shorts, because for some reason when I'm thinking of like a fantasy world, if the character is in shorts, they just feel younger to me. And maybe that's just like a thing where, everybody's in, you would see like kids put in shorts and stuff. And I put the little crop top on her because that just felt like a rebellious thing. And the, this kind of spiky hair with the space buns was just very, kind of also helped convey that not really, almost want to say outskirts of society kind of feelings. But yeah, it was, so that's what you have to think about. For me then, I had to incorporate colors. I did draw some colors. That was my cat. She is sitting on the stand that is holding the camera. She jumped up off of it, so she wiggled the camera a bit. But so I had to like work in these other things, like the random colors and the sidekick and the random hair things. So that's like the specific type of hair. So that's neither here nor there. I had to follow those rules, so it makes it a little more difficult when I'm doing these little character challenges. But obviously, you'd continue to think about the character role and what it is you can have them look like to fill that role. I had to do it a little bit the opposite way, as in I have what she looks like, so what role does she fill so I can figure out the rest of her clothes. I have thought about adding like a clothes aspect to it, where I maybe print off like specific pictures from like Pinterest or something that are interesting to me, and just like one article of clothing, like it might have the whole outfit, but I'm only referencing one thing, and having that be a randomized thing as well. So then I have to draw, like, it could be like a skirt or like a dress or a corset or a cape or something, and if I draw that, I have to incorporate that somehow. That would almost be kind of silly though, because I wanted to, the whole point of this challenge was for when I'm kind of feeling art block and I don't know what to draw, I have this base for anything really, and it's kind of test your creativity to figure these out. And I would highly recommend trying this yourself if that is something you struggle with. Like, you want to draw, you need to draw, get better. What on earth is it that you're supposed to draw? And for me, I love drawing characters. Character designing is the funnest thing for me. I love the hair, the clothes, the attitudes. It's the best. And I recommend it. Yeah, my little things, as you saw, they are genre/time period. And that's just random. Like, it's anything from mermaids, fairies, fantasies, very broad, obviously. And then I have their skin color based on the Copic colors that I own. And then I have what type of hair they have, and then what color their hair is, and then some random accessories and stuff to kind of spice it up a bit. And I have thought about adding more things, maybe like sunglasses, a scarf, things that are more specific. Wow, noisy car. But so here I am drawing this fun little magic bit. I don't really draw this kind of stuff, especially when I'm doing art traditionally, but I thought it would be very fun, like a very fun challenge, and it ended up making me like the piece so much more. So there it is, finished. I inked it off camera, and I did use a black Copic Multiliner, and then for the blue I used a blue Micron Fineliner. And here I am going in with the color E21, which is light suntan, for Copic, which is the skin color that I drew for this character. I cannot remember what on earth it was I was talking about. But anyway, I do recommend using this tactic if you struggle to figure out what it is that you want to draw. I will put down below the different prompts that I have and the different prompts that I use, and maybe I'll even include some of the ones that I want to include in mine, so feel free to use them. I highly recommend it. I also have little cards that have all my Copic colors on them. Well, not all of them, because I've gotten some new ones. And I sometimes then, if I'm struggling with a color scheme or something, I will pull some of those, and I did pull some of those at the beginning. I ended up hating them all, and I already had something I wanted to use when it came to like her blue and green hair, so I was kind of rocking with that. So I didn't really need any extra help, although I probably should have taken it, or I should have thought this out. But yeah, my one regret was I got to this point and I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do once I get her skin tone colored? I did not know what color blue I was going to use, or what color green, if I was going to use the green for sure. And then I had no idea what on earth I wanted to do with her outfits. Well, outfit pieces, her articles of clothing. I cannot speak. But yes, so I definitely wish I had planned those out. And if you are, concerned with like the final product of pictures, like you really want them to look good and you're not just having, well, I don't think your art has to look good. Anything is art and stuff, but if you're really looking for them to be cohesive, like that's something you're really pushing, highly recommend coloring your thumbnails, or at least coming up with a color scheme before you jump right into coloring. I did not, and that does show through. I have thought already about drawing this character again, but pushing her underclothes a little bit. Like, I loved the coat. I did not love the colors I picked for the coat, and I did not like how plain her little crop top and shorts are. They were quite plain, and I think that that's something I've been working on personally, and especially in my digital art, is making things more detailed. And now it takes it forever, but because if you saw my last video, I did a couple of characters, and the whole piece took me 12 hours, and that's a long time for me. But anyway, that's just something I really need to focus on in my traditional art, is putting as much detail as I do, or at least as much as I can, because obviously you can't zoom in, and there's no erasing pen when it comes to traditional art like there is in digital art. but I really neglected details in this piece, and that is kind of sad because it was really set up really nicely for details. But if you want to see stills of this and more like it, feel free to check out my Instagram. I post as often as I can. This week so far, it has been weekly, like a daily, like every day. But yeah, something I'm working on is trying to post more often, and you will see this artwork plus many, many, many more because I don't share everything here. Like, I don't film myself drawing everything. So there's tons more over there, more character challenges, more personal art. I did just post a Meet the Artist. I did draw it on my canvas that I use for videos, so it might end up being a video because it turned out pretty good. I might do something to myself. But I had colored her little tights there. I colored the skin like I normally would, and then over it I used a light blue and a little bit of a darker blue on the edges and stuff, just so that way I can give it the illusion of glowing. And now, like I said, I definitely did not think very closely about the colors of this, so I really love the idea of, like, when you're wearing a coat and it kind of floats open, or like a cape or something, like the underside being a lighter color than the outside. I don't know why. That's just an aesthetic choice, a clothing choice that I'm very drawn to, but I did not think that through very much because I don't know why, but I was against using black. I thought it was a bit of a cop-out maybe. Like, I feel like a black coat, like, how original, I don't know. And so I thought I'd use green, but if I used the green from her hair, it's not darker than the blue on the inside. So then I pulled out this green and it was kind of dying, so I'm like, oh well, I'll just lay it down a bit and then layer on top of it other colors, to kind of fill it out, keep it darker, I used like a gray, and I use this lighter green to blend it into the highlights a little bit, and then I use a gray to go over it, and then a darker gray for the shadows, and it ended up looking fine. And that's all I'm gonna say, fine. It didn't look great. Was not my favorite. And then I kind of wanted to tie in the color that I had pulled to, and I had pulled like pale cobalt green, and it's like this kind of light teal. Well, I ended up using the touch darker teal to try to, like, on the details and stuff. Oh, it just wasn't the best. I should have went with a silver color or a gold color, my classic go-tos, but I didn't. And I thought I was being new. I thought I was being original. I wasn't. It wasn't good. This is why, kids, we always plan our colors out ahead of time, because if you don't, it's a bit of a mess, just a little bit. Luckily, these are fun. These are for learning and learning experiences. Like I said, they're a fun exercise practice for becoming a better artist, really. It's all about getting better at everything we can do to better ourselves. And that's all we can do as artists, because nobody will ever be perfect. Even the masters would look at their piece and be like, yeah, I hate this part, or I don't like this, or I wish I was better at this. Everybody thinks that. So it's okay to not enjoy every aspect of a piece that you create. For this one, I could tell I was a bit rusty. Her posing is a little off, I think, but overall, I'm proud of myself for using a more dynamic pose. And the colors, I liked the blue on the interior of the coat, and I kind of liked how the whole piece had a bit of like a blue feel to it, but I really should have planned the colors out, just, you live and you learn. That's how it goes. But there you can see I introduced that color, and I really think if I was going to do it, I shouldn't have used the darker color. So there's like pale cobalt green, and then there's this one, I don't know, something horizon maybe, I don't know, and it's a bit darker. It's like kind of in the same family as it, but just a touch darker, but just a touch too much dark. It blended in too much then, it simultaneously blended in and stuck out because it wasn't light enough to have enough contrast, but it wasn't blue or green enough to blend it to like fit with the rest of the color scheme. So it was just a bit off. So I should have just went with pale cobalt blue or green, whatever it is. And then it would have at least been like a lot lighter, because it's a lot like the pale porcelain blue, which I use for the little magic bits and stuff to be light colored. But yes, everybody makes mistakes and whatnot. And then, like I said, I got struggling to what her colors for her clothes were going to be. So I thought these kind of like purpley, this is like literally called like purplish gray, something like that. Or grayish purple, something like that. And I was like, oh, perfect. And then I thought I'd make her top black. Very basic. Like overall, I was just kind of over the color scheme. And so I'm like, what can I do to not make this the absolute worst? You know, how can I try to salvage it a little bit? So I thought make the clothes that were under the coat not as noticeable. Did it work? Maybe. It kind of gave her, I don't know, I think it helped not detract, but I really maybe should have went lighter, but the lighter didn't really fit, because I was kind of going with a little bit of like an emo-y vibe to her, but then it felt like the coat didn't fit with her. I don't know, I should have just done, I think I should have rolled with a black coat, and the blue maybe have made it more galaxy-like, like mix in lighter and darker blues to give it a bit more texture. Or I should have went in over top of the green with a marker colored pencil and kind of added in like a texture, so almost like it's like a brocade fabric. I don't know, you know, that really thick, it's like heavy and embroidered pattern fabric, that. And then I tried to salvage a bit with that greeny blue color by making her shoes that color, which honestly they're kind of cute. These shoes are loosely based on Converse because that's like my go-to. I fucking love Converse. They match everything. I don't wear mine that often anymore because I have like foot problems and stuff. So I have to wear like these special tennis shoes, which make me feel a bit like a grandma, but luckily they come in black and white, so they look pretty nice. But Converse go with everything, and I have this pair of Converse exactly like this color, and I bought them to match my prom dress. It was fun. Here I used the sepia that I had drawn earlier to color over top of the book, because the sepia color is actually kind of gross. So I colored it over top of a gray. And then for the book pages, like anything that was white, I actually went and colored in with the pale porcelain blue, because I'm not about using like the white of the paper for the white. Like true white doesn't exist in a lot of things. Like even paper in books and stuff are not really that white. Like sometimes they're kind of yellowy or blue even, honestly, or gray, whatever. And then I add a little texture with that like pale blue color inside, that's like darker though than the pale porcelain blue, to add some texture to the little magic. If you'd excuse me, that was somebody favoriting something on Etsy. How rude of me not to have my phone on silent. Ugh, rookie mistake. But I do all these in pretty much one go because I'm a little lazy and I value authenticity. So you hear everything, honestly. But back to the piece, I have grabbed my Jelly Roll white gel pen. I think the size is, I don't know if it's 01 or 10, I don't know, something like that. It's a big, thick, fat one. Or it might be 08. Oh, 10, haha, there we go. And I use it to add in some details. I like shiny eyes, and I add these little sparkly things in there and put a little bit of a white border around the magic to kind of make it even brighter in front of her. And I just add little tiny stars and stuff, and I don't usually add a lot of shinies. That's kind of what I call them, to skin, but I did over her legs because she's wearing like tights and stuff, so I thought that would help portray the fact that she's wearing tights. But anyway, this is pretty much done. Overall, I really had a great time with this, and I hope that you liked listening to me talk about my kind of character design process while I designed a randomized character. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, share, subscribe, and down below I have all of my other social media is linked, as well as all the things that I use in these videos. So I hope you have a great day. Bye.